Welcome back to Hardball. Well, the Intelligence Committee report put out today contained details about a man once called a senior lieutenant to Osama bin Laden. Abu Zubaydah was captured shortly after 9/11 and subjected to extreme interrogation techniques at a CIA black site in Thailand. In fact, he was among the first detainees to be waterboarded after the practice was okayed by the Office of Legal Counsel in August of 2002. Joining me right now is the attorney that who represented Abu Zubaydah Joseph Margoulis. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us. What is your view? I'm going to leave it wide open to you. Your view of torture and what it achieves or doesn't.
Well, before I even go to that, I've got to correct something that you said. You identified my client, Abu Zubaydah, as a senior al-Qaeda terrorist, or a member of al-Qaeda even. In fact, this report, which is the most comprehensive examination of all the material that's ever been collected since the program was created, makes clear that he was not. Buried away on page 410 of the report.
I think just to correct, just to make sure, you have to correct what I said. If you're going to correct what I said a man once called a senior lieutenant. Was he ever called a senior lieutenant?
Absolutely. But the
well,
point
that's
is
what
that
I just said, and you corrected me. Well, don't correct me for what I didn't say.
All right, look, I don't want to quibble. If you and I are in agreement that he's not the person that they represented
no, I'm in agreement with what I said.
On.
And as long as you use what I said to respond is helpful here. Go ahead.
Now you're asking me what I view about torture. My view is that I agree with Joan. It's a bad idea. We shouldn't do it. It's wrong.
Do you think it achieves answers that are useful?
The evidence in this case is that it did not. The evidence is, when you examine all the material, that what it uncovered is either false or could have been uncovered by other means. But I don't ask that question. Frankly, we don't ask the question whether chemical weapons work. We just say, no, that's wrong. We're not going to do it. And we should take that position vis-a-vis torture as well.
Well,
but if you're going to ask the question, the answer is no.
And it's you're really answering in a pure way, and I appreciate that. John Walsh did the same. In other words, it would be like a question: do you believe in capital punishment? Do you?
No, I don't believe in capital punishment either.
Do you think it's immoral?
I have a slightly different view. I think that the state should not be empowered to kill people. In the same way, I don't think the state should be empowered to torture people. It's more of a concern about, I have concern about giving the state that kind of power. I have too much mistrust of the state.
I appreciate that, and I do too. Maybe not as much as you, but I share that passion. Let me ask you this. Throughout history, torture's been used. I mean, it's used to punish. It's been used for all kinds of... You go to Fort William Henry up at Lake George, you see how they tortured their own soldiers. You see it on every time you go to a monument, a ship, a fort somewhere, they see the torture room. And you see it in Vietnam, old pictures of Vietnam. Why was torture used? Why was it always so part of battle and adversarial relationships in life, torture? What was its role, if not to get information?
Oh, no, unfortunately, the sad truth of torture is its ostensible justification is to get information. Its actual use is to brutalize, to dehumanize, to demonstrate your physical and psychological superiority. It's to demean the other. That's a much more potent use through time. And if you look at what was done in this case, I mean, we have rectal examinations with excessive force. I mean, this is not an interrogation technique. This is a brutalization technique. This isn't about getting information. This is about demonstrating your actual visceral superiority over these people and treating them like animals. And that's the real danger.
Do you think, is it sadism?
No, I don't want to say what's sadism. It was a horrible, horrible moment in American history. And I am opposed to prosecutions. Let me just make that clear. I think that we should just have complete transparency, bring all the information out, and let the country discuss it. And if Dick Cheney wants to come back and say, no, you have it all wrong, this is a partisan hatchet job, fine, let's bring him back, put him under oath, give him immunity, and say, we're listening. What do you got to say?
So the Feinstein report is good for the country, good for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks
in the
so
long
much.
Run, disclosure is good.
Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, Joseph Margoulis. Thanks for coming on the show. Up next, fireworks on Capitol Hill today as Obamacare advisor Jonathan Gruber testified before Darrell Issa's committee. There's a meeting of the minds. Gruber's the guy who said that it was stupidity. The stupidity of the voters was critical in getting the president's health care reform passed in the first place. The stupidity. And conservatives were eager to kill Obamacare. They loved hearing that. Plus, progressives are trying to lure Elizabeth Warren to run for president. That's been a slow burner that's picking up heat. You're watching Hardball, the place for politics.